Shalom everyone. Today we're going to go through a couple of historical facts of the land of Israel so people have just a general rundown of the history of the land of Israel. So we all know that Israel is a very ancient place and Jerusalem is the mountain where the temples were built on, and the Babylonians destroyed the first temple, which was built by King David. And then the Persian Empire, which was in charge of Israel at that time, after the Babylonians exiled the Jews. The Persian Empire gave permission for the Jewish people to rebuild the temple, the second temple, which was then destroyed by the Romans and the Greeks. Now, later on, when the Jewish people again were exiled, there's been many Jews living there over the years. Few years later, after the Jews were exiled and the destruction of the temple, we have the religion of Islam, founded by Muhammad, the prophet of the Muslim religion. And he speaks about going to a very far mosque called Alaska. Al-Iska is the journey to the Alaska mosque. And there's a debate between the Islamic opinions, whether this place was in Mecca in Saudi Arabia where Islam was founded, or whether it was in Jerusalem. But that's the only time in the Quran they speak about Jerusalem, even if that refers to the Temple Mount of Jerusalem. But we know in the Bible it says about over 500 times about Jerusalem, and how so many years before that, how King Solomon and his father King David, the Jewish capital was then Jerusalem. So there's been Jews living there for a long time. Now, when the Romans destroyed the second temple, they gave the name to the region, not Israel, but they gave the name of Palestina. And that's where the name Palestine comes from. So it's the region, that whole region of Israel, modern day Israel, is Palestine. Some people call it Judea and Samaria. That was also the land of Judah, where the tribes were living. But the name Palestina is from the Romans, and there's always been Jews living that region, so you can call them Jewish Palestinians. How the Arabic League themselves used to refer to the Jews as the Palestinian Jews. Now, some people say only after the Holocaust the Jews moved to Israel and they kick out the Palestinians. Well, first of all, like we mentioned, there was already Jews living there. Jewish Palestinians, as referred to in the 1960s. The Russians actually created this term called Palestinians, referring to the people that lived in that region. We also know the mandate from Britain of the place of Palestine, and there was different resolutions of how big it should be. Over the years, it was changing. We also know from the biblical times what was the different borders of Israel. Now, many Jews moved to Israel after the Holocaust, but not the majority of Jews. Jews came from all over the world. My grandfather is an Arabic Jew. He's a Jew from Tunis. His mother is an Italian Jew. She came from a family in Italy. So there's many Jews from all over the world, different regions that lived in Israel before the Holocaust, after the Holocaust. Not necessarily did the state of Israel be created and all the Jews moved there just because of the Holocaust. Jews have been living there for over 4,000 years. From many different, the Ottoman Empire, many different empires, the Persian Empire, the Roman Empire, the Babylonian Empire, through all these times, even dated back to before Muhammad went on the Al-Iska trip to what some people say is Jerusalem. The Jews already had declared Jerusalem as their capital city. So if you actually look at these facts, you see that Jews have been living there for thousands of years. Arabs have been living there for many years. Muslims have been living there for many years. But to say that the Jews kicked other people out of their land and just decided to make their own land is historically not true, as we see the facts showing us that Jews have been living there for thousands and thousands of years and have always held as their capital to be Jerusalem as opposed to other nations. We know this is also a very holy place for Christians, that Christians believe that Jesus from Nazareth comes from Israel, so it's a holy place for them as well. But we do not find that same connection of holiness to the Muslim religion. So this is a time when we can actually look at these facts and search them up and learn about them, so we see what's going on and we understand who comes from truth, who comes from peace, and who comes just for spilling blood and just to cause harm to other people. Thank you for joining. Have a wonderful week.